Tottenham Hotspur 2, Chelsea nil. A game which wasn't the most exciting, but it had a lot of moments to talk about, especially from Spurs and Chelsea perspective. We've got VAR to talk about as well, the refereeing, more controversy. I'm not really sure what to make of it, but let's discuss it. So, Chelsea losing another game of football, and their poor run since Graham Potter's been appointed continues, and I think Potter's really struggling in this moment in time, and there seems to be no confidence flowing through this Chelsea team. They defend quite well in most games, actually, but they still concede the odd one or two goals here and there. And the issue they have is they just can't score a goal. For all the money Chelsea spent in the summer and in January, the fact is they still haven't brought an out-and-out striker, and they still are struggling to score goals. Nothing I'm saying is revolutionary. It's nothing massively insightful. It's all everything that everyone watching Chelsea knows about. And that's the issue, because it's so clear and obvious what the issues are. They struggle to create goals, they struggle to score goals. Their XG is poor, the expected shots are poor, the chances they have, the quality of the chances, and it's really showing. I mean, Graham Potter, I feel sorry for the guy, because Todd Bowley's come in and he spent all this money, but he could have bought him a striker. And maybe try to sort it out. I mean, we all know Nkunku's coming in the summer, but really, is Graham Potter going to be there to reap the benefits of waiting for Nkunku in the summer? I don't know. I really don't know. I think Chelsea have also been extremely unlucky with injuries. If you look at the fact that Fofana's out injured, you've got Armand Brozier who's out injured as well, who could have really, really benefited from the lack of attacking options at the moment in time and used it to propel his career, but unfortunately he's out for a long while with his ACL injury, and the Chelsea side are really, really poor going forward. And I think I saw Todd Bowley in the stands, and everyone's, I'm sure, watching the game saw him, and it's one of those where you think to yourself, how much longer is he going to wait? Because Thomas Tuchel, he was the Champions League winner. He was a Chelsea legend. No matter what you say, no matter what you think, if you win a Champions League with the club, you are a legend of that club as a manager. Roberto Di Matteo, we still talk about Roberto Di Matteo to this day, and how the fact that, you know, he came in halfway through the season, did wonderful, amazing things, helping Chelsea win their first Champions League, and he'll always be ingrained in that club and always be remembered. The same with Thomas Tuchel was. And if you think about it, Thomas Tuchel was only in 6th at the time he got sacked. Right now, Chelsea are 10th. They played 24 games and got 31 points, which is just dreadful. And I think they're 14 points off top 4, but they're only 10 off the relegation. And that made it worse by the fact they lost to Spurs today, who I didn't think were great, but they didn't have to be. They didn't have to be, really. I think the goals at the end of the day, I think, were soft a little bit from Chelsea's point of view, but especially if you think about Skip's goal, João Felix should be contesting that ball much better. He must have been stronger, and the fact that he just let Skip just beat him to the ball and then having him wonder shot, and I think Kepa should also do a bit better, but it's coming through a lot of bodies, and I can understand if maybe he can't see it, but the fact is he gets a hand to it. He gets a hand to it, and he moves the ball, changed trajectory, and he could have saved it, really. I think he could have saved it, and a better keeper saves it, in my opinion. And I know that is a bit harsh, but I think Chelsea also need to upgrade on the goalkeeper as well as the centre forward. And then the second goal is just, I don't know, it's such poor defending. I mean, the way Dyer just manhandles, I think it's Mason Mount, the way he just manhandles him and just gets on top of him and then just nods on to the back post. Ben Chilwell needs to be marking that space so much better than he is. That's his job. He has got that space in front of him, and he needs to be clearing the ball if it gets in that area, and he just lets it go past. And then Raheem Sterling, England teammates, I don't know what he was doing. He was holding on to Kane, doing alright, marking him, jockeying him, and all of a sudden he just lets him go. And I know there's that kind of in-between period where Raheem Sterling's trying to pass him on to Ben Chilwell, but Ben Chilwell is also marking the space, and they don't communicate quickly enough, and then in that split second Kane's there in the back post, and it's a goal. It's a 2-0 to Spurs, and on the day we're better than Chelsea, but not much better. I mean, they didn't really have to work too hard for it. They were just a better team, and all in all, it was just the first 10 minutes Spurs were very good. I thought the game was fast, the game was intense, and I thought, maybe there's going to be, maybe not the Battle of the Bridge, but it's going to be definitely an interesting game to watch, and it's going to be end to end, and it's going to be exciting for the neutral. But the game really, really calmed down. I mean, there was a few angsty moments. I mean, Thiago Silva throwing an elbow very early on, which got checked by VAR, and I thought, No, I mean, maybe I would have given Thiago Silva a yellow for that, because I definitely don't think it was a red. He did motion towards the Spurs player, but it wasn't in his face, so therefore I think a yellow, but he shouldn't have been red carded. And then coming on to the fact that the VAR controversy, Hakim Ziyech, who got sent off, and then VAR reversed it, I think. I'm not sure what really happened, if I'm being completely honest. I think what happened is the ref was waiting for confirmation from VAR to say, this is the player who made the movement. Because I think the referee wasn't looking at the moment in time at who it was. So I think VAR told him it was Ziyech. And then he goes, okay, I'm giving Ziyech a red card. That's my on-field decision. And then he goes to the screen because VAR tell him, we think maybe you need to reverse his decision. And I think that was the process, which wasn't being explained too well by the commentators. They were very confused. Because watching it in real time, I thought to myself, right, you don't just go on the word of VAR and send someone off. You go and watch the screen first, always. You always go and watch the screen first, and then you make your decision because the VAR referee thinks you've made a mistake. So that's what I think happened. I think the referee gave the red card to Ziyech because that was his on-field decision. He was just waiting for confirmation of who it was that pushed Emerson Royale. I think the issue then comes is the fact that I think Ziyech should also have got a yellow card before that for the foul. And I know two Spurs players ended up making the foul, but Ziyech was one of them, along with Havertz. And I think Ziyech should have got a yellow for that foul, and then he should have got a second yellow for pushing Emerson Royale. Even though I don't think it was a straight red directly, because he hits him in the shoulder and kind of neck region, and he just trying to push him, and then Royale kind of. It's just very awkward, and I just don't think it's a red card. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But it wasn't a red card for me. But I do think Ziyech should have had 2 yellows. And I know it's the same passage of play, but I think it doesn't matter. The first one was a bad tackle. The second one was he's slightly out of control. He's trying to push him, but he gets it wrong, and you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And I think it was just all very poorly handled by the referee. And I mean, I think a couple of times the ref had to go off the pitch and sort out his kit and get it back on, and it was all just a bit confusing. And to be fair, it was a game you expected, because you expect a bit of needle against Chelsea, against Spurs. They have the history, have the rivalry between the two clubs, and there's always going to be a game which is never going to be plain sailing and yellow and clean throughout the entire game. And all in all, I thought he did alright, the ref, but that VAR, the whole thing needed to be explained. And this is where I think to myself, you need press conferences for referees, not kind of like them coming out and having to interrogate, but just to explain, this is what happened, I'm not taking any questions, so you have the information, stop making it a big deal. Because now, I can assure you, I'm making a video reacting to Spurs versus Chelsea. I'm sure lots of other people are going to be discussing the VAR controversy. I've seen Twitter blow up already about it. For me, it's not a red card for Ziyech, it's 2 yellows. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think Graham Potter now, I know I spent a lot of this reaction talking about Chelsea, but I think Chelsea is the more curious case at the moment in time, because, like I said, Spurs are now, they're in 4th place. They're on 45 points, 4 points ahead of Newcastle, although Newcastle have 2 games in hand. And they look like they're in a good position at the moment, Spurs, because Newcastle's form isn't great at the moment. I mean, neither is Spurs, but if they can pick up a bit of consistency or just carry on as they're doing at the moment, then they might be alright. I think Chelsea, 31 points after 24 games. That is woeful. And I feel like Graham Potter is struggling at this moment in time, and he's making some issues for himself. Because the fact is, he's going to get hammered no matter what. Right? Let's get it straight. If he changes the team every week, which he has been doing, he's making an average of 4 changes a game since he's been here, and that's... We'll come on to that. But he's making 4 changes a game, and so if he doesn't win the game, people are saying, you're not being consistent. If he keeps the same team and loses a game, people are saying you need to make changes. So there's no winning there. Half of it is enforced because of the fact that Chelsea picked up so many injuries, and Thiago Silva going off now in the first 15-20 minutes is massive for Chelsea, because surprisingly, the 38-year-old has been their best defender all season. They brought in Koulibaly, they brought in Badiashile, they brought in Cucurella, who's looked woeful, but Thiago Silva, the constant, at 38 years old, he's going to be 39 soon, is the one who's been Chelsea's best defender all season, and he has been for a number of years now. The guy's absolute class, and hopefully he's in now for too long, because you saw Fofana come in, and then he made Harry Kane chipped a ball over the Chelsea's back line, and you saw Fofana stretch and do a bicycle kick over his head, and he then pulled up and he was holding the bottom of his buttock and his upper hamstring, and he thought to himself, oh God, is he going to be out injured now? Because they don't have a great injury record. Wesley Fofana, you've also got Chalobah, you've got Badiashile, and some of them are in some Champions League squad, some of them aren't in the Premier League squad. It's all a bit of a mess at this moment in time, and Chelsea need Thiago Silva fit back as soon as possible, because he is one player that you start every week in, week out if you can, and if he's fit, you definitely do, because he's that good. Spurs now going forward, they just need to be a bit more consistent. They need to just carry on picking up wins and draws. And I think the fact they didn't have much possession today at home, and it's one of those where if you lose that game, then Spurs fans are saying this is so boring, this is so turgid, this game's horrible to watch. And I kind of agree, because at home Chelsea have more possession than you. That's kind of a worry. I know that's not the way Conte plays, and as soon as Spurs go 1-0 up, you kind of go, okay, this is Spurs' game to lose now, because they prefer to defend and be on the counter. But they need to be a bit more attacking. They need to commit a few more men forward, because sure, it might be enough for top 4, but really at this moment, if you look at it, next summer Newcastle are going to invest even more. Man United aren't going there. Liverpool are going to be back, and Conte's contract only expires in the summer. It's not going to carry on, and it doesn't look like he's going to sign at this moment in time. So Spurs really need to get more fluidity in their football, get more attacking, score more goals. I mean, get Heung-min in a bit of form. If not, get Richarlison a few more goals. Get Kulusevski a few more goals, because at the moment Harry Kane is carrying them in the attacking sense, playing balls in from deep and scoring the goals himself. You need a couple Harry Kanes in that team. But those are my thoughts on the Tottenham 2, Chelsea 0. Let me know what you guys think, comment below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.